All right. Good morning, PT on Ice Daily Show. Welcome to our 1500th episode of PT on Ice. We are incredibly honored that you guys tune in and listen to our crew rap about everything from pregnancy and postpartum to fitness athlete management, from pushing the envelope on Jerry care to evidence-based orthopedic care, whether that's from our spine division, our extremity crew, and the latest and greatest about dry needling, and then gaining some leadership insights. We are so honored that you guys choose us to listen to for all of the information. ICE wouldn't be what it is without you guys. So thank you so much for hanging with us on Instagram, on YouTube, on your podcast apps, and in our courses. We love connecting with you all and working together to push our profession towards PT 2.0. Today, I want to ring in our 1500th episode with a topic that honestly might seem a bit random, but don't worry, I'm going to explain where it came from. Today, we're going to be talking about lessons we can all learn from the man, Ted Lasso himself, both as physical therapist and honestly, just in life too. Before we do that, I'm going to dive into our upcoming courses in the ICE Pelvic Division. Our next online cohort starts July 10th. This is our 8-week course where we dive into everything from preconception and relative energy deficiency in sport to pregnancy, making modifications for pregnant athletes. We talk about birth. We talk about the fourth trimester. We talk about postpartum. We go over how to get athletes back to the barbell, back to the gymnastics rig. It is a lot of really great information, and that cohort starts July 10th is when our next one kicks off. Our next in-person courses, we've got 3 coming up in the next few months. July 29th and 30th, we've got a team going out to Parker, Colorado. That's going to be with Alexis Morgan and April Dominic. September 23rd and 24th in Scottsdale, Arizona. That'll be with Alexis Morgan and myself. And then September 30th and October 1st, Christina Previtt is going to be hanging out in Ontario. So if you've been looking for a course north of the border for the pelvic division, check that one out. Head to the website, sign up for those courses. While you're there, head to the resources tab, sign up for our newsletter to stay up to date on all of the latest pelvic and pregnancy and postpartum information and research. All right, guys, here we go. We're kicking it off. Why am I here on Pelvic Monday talking about Ted Lasso? In our online cohort, we cover a lot of different topics, like I just said. In week 6, we talk about gymnastics, and we are talking about helping our patients get back to the pull-up bar, working on pull-ups and chest to bars and bar muscle-ups and ring muscle-ups and all of these like advanced gymnastic skills that we learn how to do in CrossFit that are all super fun. We always ask the crew in the class kind of towards the end of our meetup, what is the biggest barrier that you perceive in helping patients get back to these skills? And in every single cohort, we always get the same answer across the board. And it's that I can't do this skill, so I don't feel like I can teach it. I'm not confident in the ability to be able to teach it. And while we do encourage people to be about it and we want them to get themselves into whatever area of fitness they love, and we always encourage them towards the CrossFit side in particular, we also always have a conversation that you don't have to be able to teach things in order to be able, or you don't have to be able to do things in order to teach them. So in past cohorts, I always make the reference of like a coach and a sport team. I admittedly do not watch sports at all. So I'm always trying to like pull a random name out and it never really works out very well. I'm like, oh yeah, like, the football coach on the sidelines, he's probably like scrawny, but then the football players are over there. And last cohort, in the middle of trying to explain this with my very poor background in sports, it hit me that Ted Lasso is the perfect example of this. This leads us beautifully into lesson number 1. And don't worry, I went through all of these examples with a fine-tooth comb to make sure that I don't spoil it if you are still finishing up Ted Lasso or maybe you haven't watched it. So, lesson number 1, you don't have to be able to do the thing in order to coach it. We all know this is a prime example from Ted Lasso because he has never played soccer and has never coached soccer, and he moves to London to coach a soccer team after having a background working with college football athletics. So that kind of resonates with me personally. I coach CrossFit and I've never done a ring muscle up, for example. However, I understand the component pieces of a ring muscle up. I know what the points of performance are. I can record somebody doing a ring muscle up and I can break down where in the movement maybe we need to tweak something or the mechanics are changing. Being able to take a step back and watch a movement and help an athlete clean up the pieces of the movement matters. Being able to jump up on the rings and do it yourself doesn't. Your patients are seeing you for a reason. They're not there to watch you just bang out a bunch of reps. They're there to get your expertise in the physical therapy realm and help connect the dots of fitness and rehab. And again, we absolutely want you guys being about it and pushing yourselves in your own fitness domains. So spending the time to learn these movements, both by like watching videos of people doing these things, pulling up YouTube, following athletes on Instagram, getting comfortable with seeing movement variability and what some of those common faults are, but also by working on them yourself. You don't have to be the best athlete out there. We actually had a whole conversation in that most recent cohort about how sometimes the best athletes do not make the best coaches because they can just jump up and do the thing. They don't really understand how to break down those component pieces. They're like, yeah, you just do it like this. So sometimes it can make you an even better coach if you don't know how to do the movement or you're not proficient in it, but you've taken the time to kind of break that down and work on it in and of yourself. Put the time in to work through it yourself, and that's going to help you troubleshoot what you're going to be eventually teaching. You want to get to know the things your patient's wanting to do, understand them well, and then understand how to break that down to the key points of performance. If that is in the fitness realm or realistically the functional movement realm, we really encourage you guys to hop into our CMFA courses to learn what those points of performance are with a physical therapist kind of scope on them. Or hop into a CrossFit Level 1 course or take a CrossFit specialty course if you know you want to hone in on your gymnastics coaching specifically, or maybe your weightlifting specifically. There's specialty courses that break that down. Seeking out the knowledge along the way, but that doesn't have to be a barrier to getting into the thing. You can start it, you can learn it. We want to make sure that we understand the component pieces, but you don't have to be able to be a master of it on your own physically in order to be able to teach it. We're going to head into lesson 2. This is my favorite lesson. Be unashamedly enthusiastic in celebrating your patient's victories. Within the very first few minutes of the first episode of Ted Lasso, there is a video of Ted dancing in the locker room with the college football team that he led to victory in his first year of coaching after they won the Division II national title. And this is what Ted is known for before he becomes the coach for AFC Richmond and moves to London. And this is kind of his like reputation. And if that's not what I hope every single one of us is doing in clinic when our patients tell us some positive progress, I don't know what it is. Maybe we're not busting out fully into a dance, but we need to be enthusiastically celebrating the wins with our patients. Envision this. You have a patient named Sally. She's coming in to see you. You're chatting with her. You're catching up on your asterisk signs. You ask her how things have been since the last visit, asking how her leakage has been because that was her worst symptom at your first visit. And she tells you like, yeah, things are okay, I guess. I'm still leaking when I work out though. So naturally, you follow this up by asking her more details. What was the workout? What movements were in the workout? When did the leakage happen within that workout? And she tells you it was in her third round of a Metcon that had 200 meters running and 50 double unders. And you're looking at her chart and you're scrolling through and you look at her last asterisk sign and you see that previously she was leaking at 10 double unders, but she just made it all the way to the third round of a workout that had running and double unders in it. You're going to freak out. Maybe not freak out, but you're going to tell her, girl, that is amazing. You're doing fantastic. Look at all of this volume that you just did. We used to be here and this was our buoy. And now your buoy's all the way up here. What we're doing is increasing your functional capacity. It's increasing the amount of work that you can do before your symptoms kick on. And that is fantastic. You are crushing it. That is what we want to be doing. We want to be celebrating our patients. Another example, maybe you have Lucy on your schedule, and Lucy used to have 3 out of 10 pain with her sit to stands every single time when she was getting off the couch with her newborn. And the other day, she sent you a text message because she back squatted 70% of her 1 rep max pain-free at 3 months postpartum. And she wants you to know, maybe you're not seeing her in the clinic. Maybe she's just excited to tell you in between sessions. We are going to respond to that text message with all of the party emojis. We're going to tell her, great job. You are crushing it. You are doing so awesome. We want to pump her up and make sure that she knows that she is doing fantastic. We can take this concept and we can apply it across so many different realms in the physical therapy world, not just in the pelvic space. Our job is to guide our patients. Our job, particularly in the PT 2.0 realm, is to load our patients and make them stronger and more resilient humans. And dang it, our job is to celebrate with them when they are crushing it. And if they are struggling to find those victories, our job is to help point them out and, again, celebrate all of these victories with them. This leads us into our third lesson of the day. Our final lesson of the day from Ted Lasso is to not be afraid to pivot. If plan A isn't working, plan B is there. This is another topic we talk about a lot in the pelvic space because there's kind of a dichotomy between high tone versus low tone and how you address the presentation. This is another topic that does come up a lot in our online cohort. We typically ask students, like, if you're new to pelvic, what are you worried about? Or what is a barrier? What kind of things are you nervous about with getting into this space? And a lot of times people say that they're nervous about doing the wrong thing or giving the patients the wrong exercises. So, for example, if there's somebody that the therapist sees and they're like, we're going to do down regulation and really work on calming that tone down, and you see the patient the next time and nothing has changed, it's okay to pivot. It's okay to say, okay, great. We tried to down train. We did that, and that was fantastic. But that wasn't really exactly what landed for us. So now we're going to switch gears and we're going to focus on loading. The down training stuff is okay, and we can still continue it. But now I want to see what happens when we introduce some load to the system. As PTs, our job is to test, treat, and retest. Within session is great, but also between sessions, right? So if we give a patient intervention and they take that home, they work on it for homework, and it doesn't quite do exactly what we were hoping, it's okay to change gears and do something different at your next session. It doesn't make you a bad therapist. It makes you somebody who is consistently creating hypotheses, testing them, retesting them, and pivoting for the best interest of your patient. So there we have it. Lessons from Ted Lasso. I hope you guys enjoyed this topic. If you haven't watched Ted Lasso, I highly recommend adding it to your list. If you have watched Ted Lasso, feel free to drop a comment of your favorite Ted Lasso quote in the comments below. And you guys get out there and crush your Monday. Bye.